All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to a special edition of Talking Buffalo podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Moran. Thank you very much, as always, for locking in, whether it's the audio side, the video side. I'll tell you what, I've done, including this one, 475 episodes. And I've written about these. I have power ranked these on Twitter, on blogs. But for the first time ever, I'm actually going to do this on a podcast in podcast form. It is time to have chicken wing power rankings / tiers. I only could think of one dude that I had. Nate Geary, WGR 550, co-host of Food for Thought podcast, along with my good friend Bruce Nolan. Matt Barino's my guy too, but when it comes to wings and food, I can only have Nate on with me to go through this list. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Listen, if it was a hair podcast, maybe I would tell you, all right, go with Perino. But yeah, I mean, let's leave the wings to the professionals, and I would say that's you and I.
Before we get into the wings, and I have them in 6 tiers, and I'll explain the system that I have for them. And Nate does not know, by the way.
I don't. Going in blind.
Nate's going in blind. He has no idea where I have these wings ranked, and we both agreed that would be better off, so we'd have no bias or anything like that. I'm going to get your real-time reaction to what you think of these. I wanted to ask you, though, so I've been doing this for 4.5 years now, and lots of, I've had plenty of good guests on, fun topics, things like that. When I first started the podcast, I would get nervous. Then you kind of get used to it. I'm sure it was like that with you on radio for a little bit. You know what I mean? You get comfortable, you get used to it. I don't know why, but I'm kind of nervous about this episode, in part because I've never done anything like this on a podcast anyway, talking and doing the wings countdown. But I feel like there's pressure on me right now. I don't know why. Yeah, when I offer a sports take, now and then it resonates a little bit, but for the most part, people are like, whatever, dude. But whenever you talk about wings, not just me, whether it's me, you, anybody, everyone has an opinion on wings because everybody enjoys wings to some extent. Football's not for everybody, hockey's not for everybody, but wings is for everybody. Have you had, like, maybe recently, have you done any shows or had any guests on or any topics where maybe not nervous necessarily, but you got a little bit of butterflies going on in you before you got going? Because that's how I'm feeling right now for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're talking about, people's livelihoods, which was, 83 total?
Yeah, 83 I've done.
83 people that, spend a majority of their day in front of a fryer and rely on these businesses as income. Of course, there's an inherent pressure that comes with that and wanting to make sure you do everybody justice and you slot them properly. And, you have one, or in a couple of cases, I know you've been to most of these establishments more than one time, but sometimes we're forming an opinion on the very first bite that we have. So there's just an inherent pressure to that. So I can buy into that totally as a guy that also eats a lot of people's food and tells them how good it is, so like, there is a level of pressure with that it's funny, but at the same time, it's real pressure.
Yeah. And with these, okay, so before we get going, because we got a lot of spots that I want to get to, this is the third straight year I've done this. Like you said, 83 total. And that's only because some have actually kind of, some places have went out of business, in part because of COVID and other reasons over the last couple of years. It actually would have been more. But I look back on last year and 2 years ago, those lists, and a couple of those places aren't in business anymore. And I know there's plenty I haven't gotten to. So there will be some on this list. And I'll ask you at the end. I'm sure there's going to be a couple here that you've had that I've never had before. Kitty cat. Anyway, all right. So instead of doing 1 through 83, the first year I did this, I just power ranked everything. I think it was 1 through 69 or 60 or something or whatever. Last year, the second year, I ranked them and I did tiers. This year, I'm doing all tiers with the exception of Mount Rushmore. And I do them in tiers. And you and I talked for a few minutes before we started taping. I do these in tiers because in many cases, I think wings are really close to being enjoyable. And sometimes if I ask you, I said, Nate, write down your 40 favorite places. 20 and 31 sounds a lot farther apart than it actually might be. You might enjoy 20 and 31 essentially the same. So, and on that note, and by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube video, I'm going to have graphics up with these. And if not, we're doing the audio version as well. I'll make sure that I run these all off. But I wanted to explain the tiers for you. All right. So for everyone listening or watching, I got 6 tiers, not including the Mount Rushmore. The last tier, and we'll go from worst to first. I got, when they're all football terms too. Tier 6 is going to be waiver wire wings. That's like your don't quit your day job type of wings.
UDFAs. Yep.
And I got 16 wing spots in that category. Then I got the 5th tier is going to be roster bubble wings. That's like your Isaiah Hodgkins wings. You know, you can make the team, not bad, but no lock to make it. I got 15 wings in that tier. Tier 4's depth chart wings. That's like your OJ Howard, your Saran Neal chicken wings. 3's solid starter wings. You know, it's like your Mitch Morse, your Greg Rizzolos are solid starter wings. There's 16 of those. Second tier is all pro wings. It's gonna be like your Trey White, your Micah Hyde category of wings. Then we got elite wings. That's the tier 1. And there's 8 that I have in tier 1, which I'll give you one spoiler alert for you, Nate. We've had a couple of these together in tape shows. So we'll save that for a little bit.
Okay.
But anyway, those are like your Josh Allen, your Von Miller type wings. And then at the very end, the final 4, I have a Mount Rushmore, and I actually did rank these 4 through 1. Criteria. When you're rating a chicken wing right now, like if you were to do this list and come up with whatever you want to power rank, however many, do you have a specific criteria? Like what do you look for when you go to a place to have wings that'll help you form your opinion?
Well, I learned from, and this was when I hung out with Alton Brown and we did our, mini tour of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that he wanted to do at each place to feel like he had one wing that he can compare everywhere, everyone's medium chicken wing.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm evaluating a place, I want to try what their specialty wing is, and I want to try their medium wing. And I don't have to have a lot of each, but if I could at least have one of each of those just to set a baseline. And also, I mean, I'm a drums over flat guy, so it'll tell me a lot if I like a place's drum or if I like a place's flat. Then I'm like, okay, this place, it's not just the level or the quality of the chicken wing, but it's the quality of the cook. Like if they get a nice, crispy, well-cooked flat and I like it, that's going to be pretty high on my tier list here. So a lot of it to me is what can I judge that goes across the board, the same thing everywhere. But to me, the specialty sauce or the specialty wing itself, Pat, will always sort of be the way to separate yourself. If you're the best medium wing, there's a bunch of places that you're probably going to be close to. What can your secret or your special sauce, special wing do to separate yourself from the people that you might be kind of right around with my medium wing places across the board. So
I agree 100%. And pretty much that's my criteria too. Like I'll always, if I go by myself and I'm only getting a single order wings, they're going to always be medium wings. Always.
Right.
I like to try to have at least one specialty wing as well. So I do value both of them, not necessarily equally. But then I also factor in other things to some extent, not as much. Like the wing flavor, obviously the wing itself is the most important thing, but I do factor in the vibe of the place, service, price, things like that. Those are all things that I kind of, at least me personally, when I come up with these. And by the way, I should put it out. Nate's given me his thoughts and his takes on this list, but if you don't like them, it's not Nate's list, it's mine. So
that's right. Not my list for the haters.
Don't kill the messenger is what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, that's the criteria. So on that note, I should say, before I pull up the 6th tier here, and like I said, I'm going to read them off. If you're watching, you'll be able to go through them. I just want to say one thing, and there's another thing that Nate and I talked about. I don't take any pride or joy whatsoever in ever saying something negative about a place. I know how hard people work, they're good people. A lot of these places are really good at other things, just not necessarily chicken wings. I wanted to put that out there. You know what I mean? Like a lot, and some of these places I'll read off, they got great beef on whack, or they got great something else.
Yep.
It's just that their wings didn't do it for me. So unless you're like a real douchebag at this place, and there's one or two of them that I won't call them out on the show, but there's a couple that I'm all right with ranking them low, and I really don't care about it. But for the most part, these are, like I said, good establishments, good people, good servers. It's just that I didn't like the wings. But on that note, and Nate, you get asked this all the time, even more than me, because I only like chicken wings, man. You eat all kinds of shit, man.
I do eat.
People are always, people are always asking you for your recommendations and your And your
I eat out a
opinions
lot
on
too.
food.
I tend to dine out a good amount. My girlfriend and I enjoy getting out to different places. I'm a big beef guy as well. Chicken and beef are kind of my. I would say if you're looking for recommendations in either department, like those are the places I'm going to be most equipped to help you in for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get going here. I'm going to pull out the 6th tier. Again, these are the waiver wire wings. These are the worst, and there's 16 of them. These are the worst among the 83 that
Glen Park. I've never had them, but I've heard good things. Like I heard that that's a name that I know.
Which one?
Glen Park Tavern.
Oh, we're going to talk about them in a second. I got them pegged out completely separate. But anyway, again, these are your waiver wire wings. This is 68 through 83. I consider these all in the same category. You can put them at the top, you can put them at the bottom, but to me, they're all the waiver wire bottom six tier wings. I got Kettles, the Squallies, Connor's Restaurant, Empty Pockets, Poorhouse, Buffalo Tap House, Guzzo's Hotspot, Lovejoy Pizza, Wycheck's Lounge, Nino's Pizza, Essie Lounge, Kodiak Jack's, Mooney's in West Seneca. There's 2 Mooney's, and it's kind of important because there's another one on this list. But Mooney's in West Seneca, Blaisdell Pizza, Danny's South, and Glen Park Tavern. Any thoughts on these? Have you had any of these before?
Remind me again, Essie Lounge. Where's that?
It's on Clinton Street in Lovejoy, or Kaisertown, I should say.
I feel like I've been there before. Not sure that I can remember it having their wings. The Kettles being on this part, you're going to be in the doghouse with some OP people.
I know.
Because I know a lot of people. I, again, never had Kettles wings. Not exactly my vibe, if I'm being honest, Kettles for me. But I know a lot of OP West Seneca people that are going to have some thoughts on that one for sure.
There's no question about it. Look, I'm going to get hated on to some extent, but I pledge to always be honest in these reviews. I don't have any bias towards them. Let me say this. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said not necessarily their wings are good, but a lot of these places are still good places. You brought up Essie Lounge. I love that bar. It's a great bar. It's a great dive bar. You go there, you shoot darts. Great place to hang out. They got a nice little patio. I'm a big fan of Essie Lounge. Just don't like their wings. Yeah. Kettles is all right too. Really good if you like live music, especially. They always got bands going on there. If you don't want to be, the busyness of O'Neill's and Prohibition, a lot of people like to go to Kettles. It's a good bar. It serves a good purpose. You mentioned Glen Park Tavern though.
Yes, please.
Again,
I've never been, but I've to see it like on tier 6. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily the last one. You could tell me it's the very last one on this list, but like that's just a name that I hear a lot when people are trying to throw out good wing spots.
I'm going to tell you this. It is the last spot on this bottom tier. If there's 83 spots, and again, I'm not ranking these generally speaking, but they're dead last to me. And I want to say this about Glen Park Tavern because it is very popular. And again, I take no pride and joy in burying anybody. They're on that Buffalo Wing Trail. Like it's a popular place.
Right. Yeah.
People are always going there. I remember when the first time, because I've been there twice, Sully got me to go there. He told me the wings were going to be good and this and that. They weren't. I'm just telling you, man, I'm being honest with you. I remember this too. So you get a single order wings. They were 8 wings, not 10.
Yeah.
They were $14. And this is back, I looked it up because I wrote a review on this. Back in the summer of 2019. So this was almost a full year before COVID because now wings are expensive everywhere.
Yeah.
Their wings were way overpriced. You only got 8. They were tiny and they tasted like nothing. I got medium and they were just bland as could be. Now, this is the type of bar that I'm talking about, Nate, because the bartender was awesome. The service was awesome. I went the second time and I got wings, and the person I went with had a beef on Weck sandwich, and I had a bite. It was awesome. There were other things on the menu that look really good. I saw, food coming out all the time, but the wings just suck, man. I'm just being completely honest with you.
Well,
keep it real.
Yeah, you're also gonna piss off some Village of Hamburg people with Poorhouse. I'm not a big Poorhouse wing guy myself. The only other ones I might say, particularly, and this is again, I'm a Hamburg guy, so I'm gonna have some takes on some of these Hamburg spots and Southtown spots. Blaisdell Pizza, I get it. I wouldn't call it a wing like pizzeria. I think they got great subs, hot subs in particular. Love their specialty pizzas. Like specifically their buffalo chicken finger pizza. But Lovejoy, I've actually 2 occasions I've had really good Lovejoy wings. And they've got some decent sauces. I used to live down the street on Main Street from the one that's in the city. So I'm not pushing back that they don't belong here. I can see why Blaisdell Pizza is probably there. Lovejoy, I might bump on the upper side of this list here.
I like their pizza.
I'm also a big fan of their pizza. They have the different garlic crusts too. They got like all sorts of crusts. Lovejoy Pizza is a good sleeper place for fantastic pizza. I would say try the wings if you've never had them. Like I said, I had 2 really good experiences with the wings.
The last spot that I wanted to talk about in this last tier here, just because again, I don't like their wings, but White Checks on Clinton Street, top of the line fish fries and beef on leg sandwiches, and also again a great place to go, a dive bar, like a lot of bars like in Kaisertown, to go have a beer. Just wings didn't do it for me, but all right, well, let's move on to our fifth tier. These are your roster bubble wings. These are like your Eddie Yarbrough, your Mike Love. It's bottom of the roster trying to make it each year. And these are like, if you were to rank them, like 53. These fall in the 53 to 67 range. Let me read them off first. I got the Yelling Goat, Good Bar, Dwyer's Irish Pub, Leo's Pizzeria and Bar, Gecko's, Bocce Club Pizza, Steel City Pub in Lackawanna, Mandy's Cafe in West Seneca, Joker's, it's in Lackawanna, Pat's Pizzeria in Angola, Brick Oven Bar and Bistro, it's in South Buffalo, Essex Street Pub, which pains me to say that because my boy owns that bar, and I love that bar.
I love Essex.
Oh my God, it's such a great Essex bar. Yeah, that's on the west side. That's on the list. Mineo South, that's in South Buffalo, Hattrick's Bar and Grill in Hamburg, and the Delaware Pub and Grill in like Kenton. So that's my list. There's 15. I think there's 15 of these from the fifth tier. Any of these stick out to you? There's 2 pretty big names on here that are kind of popular when it comes to wings that I just have not had good experiences at.
Good Bar and Dwyer's, are they the back-to-back ones?
Absolutely. Those are the 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I have frequented Good Bar quite a bit. I've had wings a handful of times, but I mostly play darts or pool and drink to excess. So it's a great late night spot, like classic Elmwood Village. Buff State area. Obviously, I went to Buff State. I spent many a nights at Good Bar. I'm with you. I know people that live and die say they're the best wing in Buffalo. I think that they're good. I've never been totally blown away by a Good Bar wing like some of my friends claim to have been. I've never been to Dwyer's. Again, a name that I've heard quite often. And I'll tell you, the Yelling Goat. Where is that?
It's in Lancaster. I don't know the street, but it's in Lancaster.
Yes, I pass it every day because I belong to Lancaster Country Club. I pass it every day. I think it's right down the street from Lancaster Country Club.
Is it? I'm not sure what's next to it, but I know I've been there. The Yelling Goat. I didn't like the wings, and I went with a large party when I had them, and everyone, again, they had other things, and everything else looked really good. They're known for some kind of famous soup. I don't know exactly what, but they're known for something, and it's not wings. Which, by the way, Nate, and you know this too, I should point this out. A lot of these places, especially the ones that are ranked lower, it's not like, Essex Street Pub's a perfect example.
I love Essex.
I know the owner, and he's not out touting his wings. He's not trying to say we're the best wings in town.
Yep.
They just have wings, and I've had them. But Essex Street Pub, I don't have to tell you, that's an awesome place. All right, Good Bar. Listen, I've heard the same thing. And I'm not heavy in the presentation. Like, you don't have to make it look like a fancy dinner plate.
Agreed.
But I've had them twice, man. And both times it looked like the wings were just launched onto a plate and the sauce was just dumped over them. The blue cheese is buried in the hot sauce. I didn't like them. Plus, and I have some notes too, because again, I've written reviews for a lot of these. Watery sauce. I wrote that down. And I went there on a busy set or a non-busy Saturday, and I still waited like 45 minutes to get my wings. And that kind of pissed me off. So considering the hype that I heard about the place, it was a big letdown. Dwyer's, again, another popular place. I went there, man, and again, I like the bar, but I had mediums, and it was like tangy sauce with 0 kick whatsoever. And then they were borderline tiny. In fact, in my little review that I wrote up, I had a hashtag baby wings. they were tiny wings, man. Wings. I don't know, man. Yeah, but I mean, this is not much of a controversial tier. Like, I don't think so.
And by the way, I have yet to see something I believe is truly controversial. I'm again Hamburg guy. Hat tricks, fine place.
Yeah, it's a watering hole and a lot of karaoke. Yeah. They have karaoke all the time too.
Yeah, I know. If I ever felt it was necessary for me to show my face in the town of Hamburg again to sing karaoke, that would definitely be the place to do it. Coyote Cafe also has some good karaoke as well.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I'm not going to really call out places. Every place on this 5th tier I enjoy, whether I like their wings or not. There are a couple places on the last tier, Empty Pockets being one of them. I really don't need to get into specifics, but
Same.
I have big issues with them. And then the other thing too, and this is like I had Danny South. I'll go back real quick. They were second to last on my 6th tier.
Yep.
I didn't like their wings, but beyond that, I hate when a place advertises wing specials, but then it's kind of like buying a car and it's got so much fine print after it. Like whatever, they don't tell you, you got to have a 2-drink minimum. Then it's extra for celery and it's extra for blue cheese and it's extra for this and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the service sometimes just ain't the best.
I love their chicken wing soup.
Yeah, they're famous for
soup
it.
Is elite. It's
they're
elite.
Famous for it. Well,
it's funny though. You were mentioning karaoke and you talked about Sully a little while ago to start the show.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Sully are big karaoke guys. So if you ever want to get out somewhere on a wing night and do a little karaoke with me and Jerry Sullivan, we'd be happy to do it.
What's your go-to?
Jerry and I go with Frank Sinatra, My Way. That would be what we'd start the day with. And then I got a couple of solo tunes, and then we bring it back with a little Lion Eyes from the Eagles.
All right, good.
Let me know.
All right.
I'd be happy to do it.
Let's get to our 4th one here, and then we'll take a break after this. So this is the 4th tier. These are your depth chart wings.
I can't believe you have Anchor Bar in tier 4. I think that might have, for me, it would probably be in tier 5.
Yeah. Well, these are 41 through 52. These again, depth chart. I consider these like your OJ Howards, your Kenneth Davis. It could be a really good backup. It could be a backup, but these are still your depth chart. These aren't really starters. 41 through 52 here. Sales Lounge, Strikers, 40 Thieves, Bella Pizza, Rusty Buffalo, Bases Loaded, 240 South, which is that's like in the Orchard Park. It used to be Pappas's and it changed their name. And I went and had wings at
Pappas's. Wow, Pappas's is no longer?
No, it's 240 South now.
Pappy's had some wings.
Yeah, they were I'll tell you what they did have is 10-cent wings. You used to go there and buy a pitcher or two of beer and get hammered and have wings for a dime each. Anyway, that's that Murph's Warsaw Grill. That's in Lackawanna. Anchor Bar, Vinny's, Adolph's First Ward Tavern, and Swanee House. All right, there's some recognizable names. The one thing I will say too is if you happen, and there's not a lot of people who do, but if you happen to like breaded wings, there's 2 spots on there that have breaded wings, and there's not a lot of places in Western New York where you can get breaded wings. But Sales Lounge in Depew and Vinny's, which might be quite literally my favorite drinking hole in all Western New York, in West Seneca and Clinton, those have breaded wings. So you think Anchor Bar is a little too high here? I
am not an Anchor Bar fan. Haven't had a lot of good experiences. I want to say that Swanee House had a lot of hype. I've only had them once and I was disappointed. They were, you're talking about, and I have not heard this criticism from you yet, which is a little surprising, Pat. You've talked a lot about the tiny wing or the small wing, but I'm here to tell you the Swanee House wing was like steroids wing, like too much meat, not enough skin. And it was really wet and moist on the inside and a soggy outside, not nearly enough sauce. Like you could tell it's too much butter. The Swanee House experience did not live up to everyone's hype. Vinny's is like a watering hole. I know a lot of people go to. I've heard good things about Adolph. Adolph's in the First Ward, have never been. 240 South again. I mean, if it's Pappas's, I've been to Pappas's a million times. 40 Thieves, I'm going to stand for a little bit. I'm an Elmwood Village guy. 40 has some really good, the Southie Gold wings, I think they have there. Like the honey mustard, one of my favorites around. But I would agree with you if we're going on like the medium chart here. Tier 4 is probably spot on for them. They also have they have a beef on weck wing too, maybe that or maybe it wasn't beef on weck, but it was like a no, I think it was. It was because it had the caraway seeds on it, and I actually really liked that one from 40 as well. You're gonna always catch my heart with Bella. I'm a huge Bella stan. I think they've got some of the best pizza in Buffalo.
Yes, thank you.
And their stuffed banana pepper pizza is the best pizza in Buffalo. There's no better pie you're gonna have if you haven't had Bella's stuffed banana pepper. Either location, Hamburg or all three, Hamburg, Boston, and Lackawanna. All of them had. Lackawanna is the OG, and it does have a little bit of elite tier status for me. It is a little better than the other ones. The other ones are fine. I'm telling you, Pat, that's the best fucking pie in all of Buffalo.
I'm so glad you said that because Absolutely. If it's not number one, it's in the top three in terms of pizza.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
their wings are perfectly fine. Look, a lot of pizzerias, and you know this, Nate, like Bella, for an example, and some other ones too. You're at a party with your friends and you get a sheet pizza
Yep.
and a bucket of wings or whatever. They're perfectly good party wings. You know what I mean? They're not bad.
Yep.
You're not.
Yep.
I think when you get to this level, unless you hate breaded wings, because then you're gonna hate sales.
I got to admit, I don't have an opinion on them.
Yeah.
I know that's like controversial to not have an opinion on. I also it's Wing Nuts, right? Is that the place?
Yep.
That does the breaded?
Yep.
That was on Barstool.
Yep.
I assume they're to come.
Yep.
Because they're not here. I've yet to go. I know they just opened a new location, so maybe this is my time. I can't tell you that I've ever had one or that one has stood out to me or that I've ever wanted one. Right. I just think the chicken wing is so perfect. I don't need more. But here's what I'll say in favor of if I'd want to go to a place to try it, and maybe you can take me to have my first breaded wing, Pat, is that I do really like the crispiness. And anytime you can add crispiness and it's cooked through, the last thing I want is like a wet, soggy wing. So if that's going to reduce the chances of me getting a soggy wing, I would be all in on trying it.
I'll tell you, I've had wing nuts, and you are all right. They are to come. They claim, and people have told me, many people, they're not breaded wings. I thought they were breaded wings, but they're not. But they're unique. There's something different about them, and I can't remember what somebody told me what they are. But they say they're not breaded. I want to circle back to Anchor Bar. I think you're right. To be completely honest with you, this was more of a kind of an OG respect kind of deal, because I can't shit on Anchor Bar because they deserve a lot of credit for being an original, and they're very popular. But yeah, to their point,
they've just watered down their product. They've watered down their product to a really, like, I would agree. The first time I ever had Anchor Bar, I was like, wow, this is the Anchor Bar, like the sauce and everything that goes with it. But they've become almost like that tourist attraction where they're trying to cater to the people that eat chicken wings all across the country and not people that eat chicken wings in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Strikers, by the way, it's the only bowling alley that I have on this.
The day of a really good bowling alley wing is probably dead.
Yeah. Well, Strikers is pretty good.
I would say so, but like who actually they did. I'm not even sure. No, they don't anymore. That they rely on the pizzeria. Never mind. But I would say like Strikers. There was a place in Hamburg growing up that was off of Southwestern. That's like a patch of land now. It's like it was right off the thruway exit in Hamburg, and our Camp Road, I should say, not Southwestern. They had great wings. I remember growing up, and I just you when I kind of think of bowling alleys, I think of bowling, but I also think of drinking beer and kind of eating chicken wings. And there's really no good bar wings coming out of a bowling alley anymore. It's kind of a shame.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to do our last three tiers in the Mount Rushmore. Plenty more coming up. Wing Countdown with Nate Geary. All right, I'm back here with Nate Geary. Before we get into our top three tiers here, you and Bruce on Friday, you guys do Food for Thought. It's live Friday nights. Is it a nice break for you in terms of, when you're on the air on WGR all the time, it's constantly football. I mean, you get to show a little bit of your personality, but for the most part, it's straight sports talk. That's what sports talk radio is. Bruce has a podcast. It's pretty much straight sports talk. You two guys get together on Fridays and you spend a lot of time, not necessarily wings, but just talking food. I mean, literally that's the title, Food for Thought. Is that show, obviously it's a little bit different for you, but is it fun to be able to do something like that? Feel a little more casual, kind of kick back, things like that?
Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, we're not like the most popular, we're kind of a niche podcast, right? But I think like we've got a great group of people that are there live with us in our StreamYard every Friday. We got a lot of people that will be, tweeting us on Monday, Tuesday, re-listening to the podcast. We've kind of got like a couple of running jokes that we bring up on every episode. And we get to talk about football, but in football and trying in clever, catchy Bruce ways to connect, the two things that we love more than anything, food and football. And then he comes up with some other third thing. And it's a show about your three favorite F's: food, football, and he makes up an F word for the week. He'll say like, Frankenfurters, keep your mind out of the gutter. So it's just a classic Bruce Nolan podcast with a little twist of my sarcasm, which is a really great combination. So if you haven't listened, we'd love to have you live. Again, we do it every Friday night, 9 p.m. On the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. It's brought to you by Genesee Brewing Company, who, I'm a shill for. I'm a corporate shill. It's like it's like in Wayne's World, when he's like, it's really too bad when people get sold out by brands, by sponsors. That's me. I feel like I should have something Genesee related to.
I know you're going to do it. Why? There it is. If you're watching on video, there's the pint glass. All right, so let's get to the third tier here now. So the third tier, I consider these your solid starter wings, and these are like you wanted to use them by numbers.
I love the more pat
25 through 40. This is where when we get to the third tier, this is where I said to myself, I'm like, I can't rank these. These got to be tiered because these are so interchangeable. Again, if you have someone
a lot of good names on this list,
right? You have someone 25, you have someone 40. It sounds so much further than it really is, at least to me anyway. Let me run through the list for people listening. All right, so this is the third tier here. This is your solid starters. This is like your Jerry Hughes, your Jim Haslett, your solid starters. Mooney's on Military Road in Tonawanda, Ebenezer Ale House in West Seneca, Cole's on Elwood Avenue, right next to Good Bar. G. McCarthy's in the First Ward. Bruner's Tavern. Is Bruner's Tavern no more? Or is it
yes, it is unfortunately no more.
Yeah, all right. So, it's too late. It's on this list already. Prohibition, right next to the stadium. Wales Center Hotel. Doc Sullivan's in South Buffalo. Snyder Bar and Grill in Amherst. Moorpat, Bada Bing downtown. The Wellington Pub on Hurdle Avenue. The Big Tree. Everyone knows the Big Tree in Orchard Park. Blackthorn Pub in South Buffalo. KO Bar and Grill, which is a small bar on Delaware Avenue in North Buffalo.
Elite.
And Nightcap in Lackawanna. All right, so you're looking at this third tier here now. Anything kind of stick out to you? What do you got?
Yes, a bunch of, some of these are near and dear to my heart. Cole's, they've got that Sicilian wing, a specialty wing that it's hard to find a comparable wing to that one. And when they make them crispy and they're fresh, like they are money wings. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Cole's. Gene McCarthy's is sort of like also a near and dear South Buffalo First Ward. Mild man and me, go grab some wings and a beer type of place. And obviously they got the First Ward Brewing out of there now, Gene McCarthy's. So like that, they've got a great beer selection. If you've never been to Gene McCarthy's, you should just go. I was actually intending on bringing Alton Brown there, but they weren't open on Monday when he was there. That would have been one of the places I brought him. Doc Sullivan's. You're gonna find some of our South Buffalo salties, as I like to call them. They're always so mad about everything, people in South Buffalo. They don't want to time it and they're pissed off. I don't know. Like I don't know. Everybody from South Buffalo. I lived there for 2 years. I'm allowed to have an opinion. Everyone's pissed off. But so there's going to be a bunch of pissed off South Buffalonians about Doc Sullivan's being in tier 3. I've always had good experiences there. I always drink too much. And again, that's another Southie gold. I actually like Doc's chicken fingers, I think maybe more than their chicken wings. But that might be a whole separate discussion. And here's one before I get to the Blackthorn and KOs, which I think are probably very underrated wings that I would probably have in tier 2, but I digress. Moorpat. The beer brined wings. They are a different take. They're just a different take on wings in Buffalo. Obviously, if you don't know, Moorpat is part of the Schatzel group. Right? We got Coles here. We have Brunner's. Liberty Hound. What's the one that's right there on Delaware and Delaware and Allen? Oh God, Coulter Bay. So like Schatzel knows how to pump out a chicken wing, but that's probably if we're gonna make a list of unique wings in Buffalo, those brined wings have a different flavor profile.
I remember Moorpat. I had Cajun dry rub wings, and they were really, really good. Yeah. I had the regular wings, and I thought they lacked kick. Which again, when I'm doing these tiers and these lists, I can't dismiss if a medium wing sucks. Not that they're sucked, but if a medium wing's mediocre, I can only put you so high.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of
why
I feel about Bada Bing.
Yeah.
Bada Bing's pretty okay, but like some of their Italian wing, I think it is, where they got like the Italian dressing and it's charred. Like, oh, I mean, that's fantastic. I got to say, KO's, I'll shill for KO's. My longtime college buddy Mike Langs, the bartender that's there probably every single night. I think he lives upstairs. They bang out a super underrated wing. It's kind of right before you get into the heart of Hurdle Ave, right off Delaware. If you've never been to KO's, go. You'll have a great bar experience. They crank out really good food, but those wings are great. And I think Blackthorn, overall, out of the restaurants we've talked about, has the overall best food.
Yeah.
Of like their food is top tier. The new patio out back is unbelievable.
Yeah, awesome.
Blackthorn, I used to live right down the street off of Seneca, and I think it is one of those hidden gems that if you don't go to, this is for you people in South Buffalo. If you make your way to South Buffalo, this is one of the best spots just to grab dinner in general.
I agree. I absolutely love Blackthorn. Bada bing, what I do remember is their hot wings were like really hot.
Super hot.
Super hot. I remember that.
They're a sandwich place for me.
Yeah. Circling back to Doc Sullivan's. All right. So this is, sometimes it was beneficial for me to go to places multiple times, and sometimes it worked out against the place.
Sure.
One of them that was beneficial was Doc Sullivan's, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the first time I went there, it sucked. Everything about it sucked. The wing was dry. The bartender acted like he didn't want to be bothered that night. I just remember it was a horrible fucking experience, and I had them really, really low, really low. I've been there like 2 or 3 times since then, and each time the wings have been considerably better. So they moved up. Snyder Bar and Grill, and again, I hate saying bad things about anybody. I did a show there, a live show once with Jay Skursky, and I was blown away, man. These wings were really, really, really good. And a couple of friends of mine who went there,
it's
they're
the
like,
Jay Skursky presence. That's why he's handsome. He's successful. They're like, Jay Skursky's here. Let's make the best wing possible.
A few too many Coronas, maybe too. I was in a generous move with me and Jay when I evaluated them. But anyway, I really liked them a lot. And I've had them 2 times since, and both times they were lesser than that first time. Now, not bad. I mean, they're still, again, you're in a solid starter territory. That means you have everyone at this point. None of these wings are bad. I'm really glad you mentioned KO Bar and Grill too, because that's a place that nobody ever talks about.
Nobody.
It's a legit hidden gem. Like most people don't even know about that place. It's really cool. And
it's the bottom of a building. It's not really like, and it's on Delaware. There's not like really a parking lot. You got to kind of pull off the main strip. It's just, to your point, it's a literal hidden gem.
Yeah. The Wellington Pub on Hurdle. You know how I feel about Hurdle wings, just general. I love patio bars on Hurdle. I love summer people watching. I think the wings are decent. Like there's nothing about the Wellington Pub wings that stand out. There's nothing unique about them, but they're just that typical good, solid wing. And then Mooney's on Military. Underrated place too. They're known for mac and cheese. Just always the one in West Seneca. They're both known for mac and cheese, but I remember where are my notes? I wrote it down. They had like these Mooney's Gold and the Tropical Thunder wings. They were really good. So that place is actually pretty sneaky good. But yeah. All right. Well, again, these are some recognizable names.
This is where it's gonna get hard.
This is going to get hard. So we're about to get to the second tier. These are my all-pro wings. These are 13 through 24. I'm looking at how many I have here. There's going to be a dozen here on the second tier. Again, these are your Trey White, your Micah Hyde. These are your all-pro wings. All right, 12 of them. I'm going to read them off. O'Neill Stadium Inn, Mimosas, Judy's Lounge Bar and Grill, Duff's. I think Nate's going to be mad.
This is so good.
Beltline Brewery, Clemens Tavern. I always pronounce it wrong. It's Clemens Tavern. That's in North Tonawanda. Want to talk about a hidden gem. Kelly's Corner, North Buffalo. The Lenox Grill downtown. Lenova Pizza. Gabriel's Gate, a very popular name in wings in Western New York. Casey's Black Rock, another place that I think is a hidden gem. And Potter's Field in like South Buffalo, West Seneca border. So you got 12 here. This is the going gets good for me here once you get to this year. What do you think? Anything standing out here?
A lot of them stand out. I will tell you another, talk about, I was mentioning Timon. Every Timon grad is on fire and loving the Potter's Field in tier 2. I think also a really good wing. Casey's Black Rock might be one of my favorite, if not favorite wings. If they were open on Monday, Alton Brown was going there. That is, or Monday morning when we wanted to get out there. Gabe's Gate is a tier 3 wing for me. I don't have a lot more to say. I've just never really had a great experience there. Lenova, obviously Alton Brown's favorite place. I will say Lenova, the original, not Lenova in Williamsville. And
right, absolutely
not in any Bills or Sabres.
Yeah. West Ferry Street
is the OG's got to be.
The Lenox for a long time, also a great place to have wing nights. I think it was 45-cent wings or something along the lines prior to COVID. They've got a Korean barbecue wing at the Lenox that is to die for. Kelly's Corner, can't say great enough things. Bruce Nolan, when he came to town, we did our podcast live from Kelly's Corner, and they filled an entire table filled the food. It was unbelievable. O'Neill's, lots of different flavors of wings. You're not going to go short on any of those. A good solid wing. I stand for Mammozers. My girlfriend overruled me bringing Alton to Mammozers. She thought it was going to be too unique of a wing, that he wouldn't have liked it. And guess what? The entire time he kept saying, like, I really wish we went to a place that had a super unique wing. I'm like, piss off. You're never going to allow me. You're never you're not vetoing me anymore. Duff's in Orchard Park and Duff's off of Niagara Falls Boulevard, particularly that Niagara Falls Boulevard one. Really, really solid. Always bang out good wings. But here is the gem. Beltline Brewery.
Yes.
Pound for pound, some of the best brewery. And I'm a big Brightsmith. Everyone knows how much I love Brightsmith in Williamsville. Beltline has unbelievable food. They're all dressed wings. Might be my favorite unique specialty wing you're going to find in Buffalo. Like the all dressed Canadian chips that you can only get on the other side of the border. Like, guys, Beltline's burgers, their fries, they got a late night menu. Their beers are great. I cannot tell you enough how underrated Beltline is. I'm so happy to see them in the all pro tier 2 wing here.
I had never been there before. I had a 2-minute conversation with the owner, and I did the podcast here with Lance Lazowski from the Buffalo News.
Love Lance.
And we got the all dressed wings, and we got 716 wings. Yeah, the all dressed, dude. Holy shit, man. Those were amazing. The only thing is they're so strong. It's like, those are, I think you like, say if you and I went out for wings right now, I would split an order of single wings with you. Like I wouldn't have 10 all dressed. That could be a bit much. But yeah, their 716 are good. I remember I talked to the owner afterwards too, and he said they kind of model them after Bar Bill a little bit. And they do have a little bit of that Bar Bill familiarity to them. What are a couple other ones? Clemens Tavern. That's another, again, it's a shithole in North Tonawanda. Huge wings. But unlike the other ones you said, there's actually juice to them. I mean, there's crisp to them. They taste really good. And they're, well, I don't know, maybe COVID changed it, but at the time they were the cheapest wings. I was like, holy shit, man. I was paying like less than $10 for an order of huge wings. It tasted really good. O'Neill's. Now, another thing too. So I said 13 through 24. Honestly, Nate, any of these could be 13 and any of these could be 24. I really, truly think they're all interchangeable.
They're all
I love O'Neill's. O'Neill's at times has been even higher than this. The only problem with O'Neill's is they can get a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
I remember I did a show with Joe Miller and I can't remember someone or the guys from Rockpile there last year, and the wings were not that good. And I'm telling you, I love this freaking place, man. Their wings, when they're good, they're as good as anybody. But I don't know. It's just once in a while they fall off. That's what keeps them from being the best of the best, but they're still exceptionally good. And I agree with you for the most part about Gabriel's Gate. I think they're overrated because I hear you see it on Twitter all the time. People are talking about places to go, and they're always one of the 2 or 3 places
Gabe's Gate
that people are mentioning. I do think they're good. I don't think they're that good. I certainly don't think they're a top 10 place. And Lenova's awesome barbecue wings, some of the best on the pit. I'm not a huge fan of their medium. They're just all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. That was the one. I think they just had a good batch that day. They made them fresh for us, brought it out. But that was Alton's favorite medium was that. Also, you know, and we haven't mentioned them yet, but I'm assuming they're either tier 1 or, you know, Mount Rushmore. But we did not have a great experience at Elmo's. And that was a first for me. I'd never not had elite level service wings at Elmo's. And they picked the one day to not have Cajun. And it was a tough, it was tough because we had talked up these Cajun honey mustard double dip wings to Alton for 3 weeks, and we didn't get to have them, unfortunately.
That's not cool. All right, man. I think we're good with. Oh, one other thing too. I'm gonna give myself a little self high five here, man. The Lenox Grill. So Eric Wood, I think this was it was before COVID. I remember that. I've become decent friends with Eric, and I did a show with him once, and we always text about wings and stuff. And he asked me for a place downtown that would be kind of under the radar a little bit, but not too busy. And I actually recommended that for him. I think the Minnesota Vikings might have been in town for either, I don't know if it was a preseason or a regular season game. But I remember he took the whole offensive line out, and they loved that place. So that place deserves some love.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. So now we're here at tier 1. These are the elite wings. These are like, this is 5 through 12, man. These are your Joe DeLamielle's, your Cornelius Bennett of chicken wings. And I know you know at least a couple of these places because I've had them with you. All right, I'm going to read Wing Nuts, which you have not had. Sunny Reds in Lackawanna, Mulberry. And people are like, what? Mulberry? Yes, Mulberry Italian Ristorante in Lackawanna. Imperial Pizza, the Audubon North, Amherst Ale House, Dalmatia Hotel, and Sports City Pizza Pub. Now, I don't know how Nate feels about, or if he feels the same way I do about some of these wing places, but I will say that Nate and I have been a part of 2 different podcasts together where UI and Matt Perino had wings at Mulberry.
I had to go back for them to double check. And
and UI and Marcel Louis Jacques, we had wings at Imperial Pizzas. All right, so you look at this list, and these are elite wings to me, not Mount Rushmore, but I still consider these elite wings. What do you think about a couple of these?
I've never had Dalmatia from Dalmatia. I've gotten them at like the Buffalo Wing Fest. I've gotten them like at the Taste of Buffalo, but I've never. So I don't. I want to maybe hold my judgment on because I know that's a Joe Yurden, like delicacy. That's a Yurden family delicacy.
He put me on to them. I got to give credit to him. Good.
Audubon North. I've never been, but that's a name I've heard a few times. Not enough to ever get me to go there though. So I after I'm done giving you my thoughts here, I'd like to get your sales pitch on Audubon. Amherst Ale House, really good stuff. Sports City, I've only been one time. They're not too far from me when I used to live on the west side, right near Sale. And I thought they were a great specialty wing. I didn't get their standard medium, but Sale lives and dies by him. He'll tell you that they're his favorite wings he's had. Again, I've been Wing Nuts. I think that might be something you and I might have to get into.
That might be a new next podcast there. Yeah.
That might be it. Sunny Reds, big fan. Have been a big fan of theirs a while. But yeah, man, Mulberry, again, we had our experience. I told my dad about it. He watched the podcast, and I was like, listen, next time we go to dinner there, let's get an order of wings as an appetizer. And then, before we get our dinner. And he was blown away. He was like, I never in a million years would have got the wings here, ever. Just never would have thought to.
Yeah. And it's not even like fancy wings.
They're
regular basic medium wings. I think they might have a different name, but they're
Eric Wood's wing though.
Yeah. Those are, well, hold on. Those were those Sunny Reds? I can't remember.
No, it was Mulberry.
All right, it was Mulberry.
Or you know what? Maybe it was Sunny Reds, and he was
it was Sunny Reds
at Mulberry though.
Mulberry had I don't know if they called them 716 or something. Mulberry had Trey White wings. Those were the barbecue ones.
Is that what it was? Trey White wings?
Yeah, okay. Trey Wing and the Trey White spicy barbecue. But anyway, to your point, you're right. Nobody would think to go to Mulberry and get wings because why would they? It's one of the best Italian places, and you're going to find anywhere. But yeah, man, those wings were completely elite. I love Imperial Pizza. Again, UI and Marcel did a show there. Those hot honey, but I want to say, make sure right, hot honey mustard barbecue wings.
Yes,
they were on the pit. Those were something to die for. They have a lot of different flavors too. They got a lot of good flavors, and their medium is solid too.
Like Lenova, they've got a very unique sweet barbecue sauce that really chars super, super well.
Yeah, for sure. Sunny Reds, I love Sunny Reds. The only thing that sucks about Sunny Reds is it's only open like 2 nights a week. That's like Friday. They're only open on weekends. But I've done actually, you know what I'm thinking about? I've done 3 shows. Eric and I did a show that Joe Biscaglia had Sunny Reds. So again, folks, it's not just me. These guys will attest. And Reed Ferguson, I did a show with him there, and he loved that place too. Again, nothing fancy about them, just regular ass wings. Now, I should say the Sunny Reds and Mulberry have at least one of the same owners. I mean, there's partners for each. So if you like the Sunny Reds medium wings, you're going to love Mulberry or vice versa because they're almost the same. Audubon North, you said you've never been to. I've been there a couple of times. I did a show there once. Actually, I did a show there twice. Once with Matt, once with Tim Graham. Their big thing is they cook wings right on the pit, and you can watch them cook them right on the grill. Really good hot Cajun barbecue. I remember those. Those were really good. I like Amherst Ale House. They got good Crown Royal wings. You got to get to Dalmatia. And yeah, and Sal is a big fan. I've been to Sports City many times, actually. Josh Reed, too, is another guy who swears by that as among his favorites. So anyway, that's the tier 1, which means it's now time for I should say anyway, Mount Rushmore, which based on what you just said a few minutes ago, you're not going to agree with whatsoever. So here's the Mount Rushmore, and these I am going to talk about in order. These I did rank from 4 to 1. Here's your Mount Rushmore. Number 4, and I know you're going to have a take on all these.
Oh, yeah.
Macy's Place Pizzeria. I feel like this, Nate, by the way. You and I, both of us, were on this train very early. Like this place.
Yes, we were.
Word of mouth got this place really, really popular. But you and I were like on ground level.
Yes. Ground zero.
When it came to this place. I love this place. They got so many good wings. So I don't even want to throw out one flavor. It's just they're as good when they're on, they're as good as anybody. All right. So anyway, Macy's Place Pizzeria, you can't go out with a group. It's pretty much takeout only. There's one tiny table. I hate that about the place. And also
we don't have to worry about that anymore.
No, that's right. They're opening up a second location, which is really going to be cool, man. That's going to be in Kenmore. And then the other thing is occasionally they would just get overwhelmed with business. And I think that would make it suffer a little bit. But anyway, this wing is top tier, man. I mean, it is. They got so many different flavors, ranging from the basic medium all the way to the honey mustard barbecue, Cajun. Yeah, you just go on and on. I know it's one of your favorite places too, right?
Yeah, obviously I'm a big Macy's Place stan. I've been for a long time. Elmo's, other than having, Alton's experience, I've never had a sub elite experience at Elmo. So I have no problem with it being ranked number 1. I believe 9/11, if it were me and I was ranking these top 3, I think Macy's is right. I think it belongs on Mount Rushmore. I believe it belongs in the number 4 spot. I might go like 9/11 Barbell Elmos myself. But it's not far enough in a way where I'm upset about Elmos being number 1. I think there's a really good case to be made for Elmos being 1.
9/11 was number 1 on my first and my second power rankings the last 2 years. This is the first year it hasn't been number 1. I don't know. It's to your point. Sometimes you could go in on a bad day and it can leave a less than stellar impression. It happens. I'm sure there's some of these wing spots that I've only been to once where I didn't think much of it. Somebody might go to Glen Park Tavern, for an example, tomorrow, and they might love the wings and they might be in their 3rd tier. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I just think their wings are the best. Those Cajun double dip are as good as anything I've had. I love 9/11. I think maybe the quality's dropped maybe 5%, if that, since the owner passed away. The daughter runs the place now, but it's still, I've had their wings twice too since the owner passed, and they're still amazing. I love Barbell. Barbell has great wings. They have great specialty wings. They call them the Josh Allen wing now, by the way, the hot honey butter. They just call them the Josh Allen wing. At least a lot of people there do. And they got awesome beef on weck. Like that might be your best place. If you want beef on weck and wings.
Oh yeah.
That's your number 1 place. But yeah, man, I got Macy's 4, Barbell 3, 9/11 2, and Elmo's number 1. Not bad, man. Anyway, we're starting to, I could tell, Nate, I don't know what's going on, but running into some audio difficulty. So I am going to cut this a little bit, but are there any wing spots that you could think of off the top of your head that maybe I have not had that like aren't on this list at all? Or do you,
Pat,
I can't think of many.
I highly doubt there are running through there on the top of my head that nothing really stood out. The only thing that I think about in my own preference is Casey's Black Rock. Like I probably have Casey's Black Rock in tier 1 for me. I think that they're one of the more underrated wings. Short of leaving places out though, there's in terms of another good pizzeria, Wise Guys, and I know the guys from the Rock Power Report will probably stand the Wise Guys for you and tell you how great they are. Wise Guys is pretty good wings too. Are they in the top 83? I don't, like maybe there's something to be. The Dome, the Golf Dome, I believe it's the Tonawanda one, apparently has super, super good wings. I don't really go to that Dome. I go to the other one off of Worley. I've had Worley's wings too. They're not bad. But the Dome in Tonawanda, Pat, is maybe some place you got to go check out. I know you're not a big golfer or anything, but I've heard Buffalo Eats, my buddy Evan, he mentioned to me that they were one of the best wings he's had, like in like a
at one of those types of settings, like a sports setting, like that's not like a bar or something. So otherwise, I'm trying to think for like Hamburg, like, what Hamburg folks might say. Geez, what is the Essie? There's another little lounge in Hamburg too. JP Fitzgerald's. I think a lot of people would tell you. I haven't had JP Fitzgerald's in a long time, but I would only get like 2 or 3 wings. I get like the beef on weck wing and fry combo, because that's just what you would do late nights. But yeah, otherwise, I would tell you that I think the list is pretty darn spot on, short of Casey's Black Rock being propped down a little bit, and maybe Anchor Bar being a little up for me. But otherwise, it's I guess I could just give you one of these, my friend.
All right. Well, regardless, this is fun. And like I said, the best thing about wings in any food is just so subjective. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and vice versa. But largely, we agree. And I love talking about wings. And this is the first time I've ever done it like this. We've done shows, at wing places, and then we end up talking bills and stuff. And that's always fun. And Nate will be with me. I'm sure we're going to do a couple. We'll definitely. I'm going to set up Wing Nuts. That's going to actually be my next thing.
Please.
Me, you, maybe we'll get somebody else. We'll definitely do a podcast there. But make sure you follow Nate on Twitter at Nate Geary Sports. Food for Thought Friday nights. Nate and Bruce, always a good time. Apologize for the audio difficulties near the end. I don't know what's going on. You never know how when you connect by internet, when we're doing it like we are remotely, shit happens. But all in all, the audio side anyway is going to be really good. So thanks, brother. I always appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, my friend. Anytime.
All right, guys, I'll be back with another episode, Casual Friday. My man, Joe Yurden. By the way, Joe Yurden employed now. Bleacher Report. Real cool. I'll talk to him about that on Friday.